I feel like probably a lot of people can relate to that.
I'm sure. A whole month of preparation, stress, anxiety for 24 hours.
Yeah. I think it's cool because every family is different and special, and growing up, I thought that my family was super weird. I kind of felt like it was something to be almost ashamed of.
So I kind of grew to hate the holidays, generally speaking, because to me the holidays were not reunion, they were separation and being tiered between different sides of the family.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday chat video, and also welcome to Vlogmas day 3. That's crazy. This is the 4th Sunday chat that we do, which means we've been at this for a month, which is like, I don't know, it just kind of blows my mind. I was thinking about this the other day because all of the recurring series that I do, like the monthly resets and the monthly money, they're all monthly. So there's never been a real series where we check in every single week, and I think this has been fantastic. If you are new, basically I've been doing these Sunday chats where we just chat about whatever's on my mind. Usually I pick like 3 subjects or so and we just, you know, ramble and hang out. And it's been 4 weeks of doing it. My intention was to kind of keep you guys company through these darker months and what can be a very busy and stressful time, what with the holidays coming up can bring up all kinds of emotions, both good, bad, well, I guess there's no real bad emotions, but you know, all kinds of feelings all along the spectrum. So yeah, I just wanted a cozy place for us to hang out once a week, and it's been fantastic. I want to thank you guys for all of the amazing feedback on this series because it's just been really motivating and encouraging, and I feel like we'll keep it going after the holidays, to be determined. Anyways, today is Sunday morning. I'm in my pajamas, maybe you can tell, and drinking a nice cup of Earl Grey. I totally forgot to mention this in the last week's video, but my nail polish does change color with the heat. Some people were like, what the heck is going on? So yeah, whenever I touch the cup, sometimes the nails will get lighter, and that's why. You are not hallucinating. So today is Sunday. Like I said, I've been vlogging all weekend, so that will be up tomorrow for Vlogmas day 4. And I'm kind of sad because I ordered an advent calendar. I really wanted to have an advent calendar for us to kind of like check in and share something every single day throughout Vlogmas, and it still hasn't come. So I don't know what to do. Like, we're already gonna be, if it comes mid next week, we're gonna be already at days like 6, 7 maybe by the time it comes. So I don't know what to do. It was basically like a tea advent calendar, so we'd be able to make a cup of tea together from the advent calendar every vlog. So I'm really disappointed that that's not here, but that's okay. I hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas. It's my first time doing it, and so far it's been really fun. A little bit crazy on the editing side, but mostly just really fun and exciting. I need to adjust the camera because when I sit back, it's like, that's better. Look how much more cozy that is. So we have 2 main topics for the video today, and then for our little surprise twist, I'm gonna bring down a special guest. He's up in my loft right now, in my bedroom, and yeah, that's kind of the plan for today. I would love for you guys to let me know in the comments what day it is and what you're doing while you're currently watching this. It's one of my favorite comments to read because I can just kind of picture, I feel like it allows me to picture you and how you're watching these videos, and I super relate to it because I know how I like to watch my favorite YouTubers, and so I just kind of see myself like on your computer screen. That sounds really weird, but I love knowing what day of the week and what you're doing. So like when you comment like, oh, it's Tuesday morning and I'm drinking my morning coffee before work watching this, it makes me so happy. So I would love to know, let me know, and let's start. Are we ready? Am I ready? I think so. So the first topic for today was inspired by a comment that I saw. I had mentioned that I was going to see my stepmom, and somebody commented, why does your stepmom live in Montreal if your dad lives in Ottawa? And I was like, that is a very good question. And I've explained this once in a vlog. I don't remember when this was. I think this was in the springtime that I kind of sat down and explained to you guys my whole family situation. It's very complicated. It's like a kind of just crazy story. I refer to us as like a very modern family. And so I thought this would be kind of like a fun time to just catch you guys up. And I know there's like a lot of new faces around here. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys the story of my family, basically. It sounds so weird, but I think it's cool because every family is different and special. And growing up, I thought that my family was weird and that, I mean, obviously we're different, but I thought that my family was super weird. I kind of felt like it was something to be almost ashamed of. And then you grow up and you realize that every family has their stuff. Every family is different. Every family has, you know, their pros and cons and whatever. And that's just the way it is. So let's go back. We're gonna go back in time to Ottawa, Canada, where I was born. My parents met at work and they started dating. I believe they dated for about a year before my mom became pregnant with me. They're not married. They were not, you know, anything. They were just dating. My mom and dad were both 36 when they had me. And my mom actually learned that she was pregnant after they broke up. So they broke up. Then my mom found out she was pregnant and she obviously decided to keep me. And she said that it was like a surprise, but she was really, really happy, which is sweet. I think the narrative around this is starting to change, but the whole concept of a child being a mistake and that if it wasn't a planned pregnancy, it was always referred to as a mistake, which is such a horrible way to refer to a child and then who grows up to be a person. Like, oh, I was a mistake. Like, what? You know, there's definitely somewhere in between a mistake and unplanned. Like you can be, you know, a happy accident. I don't really like that term because are there even accidents in life? Anyways, we don't have to go on and on about that. But basically, I grew up comparing myself to kids who came from parents who were still together, parents who were married, who seemed to be planned, and I was like, oh, I was a mistake. But it also never super affected my self-confidence. Like my parents loved me very much and they never said, oh, you were a mistake. Like if I referred to myself as that because that's what kids at school were saying, my parents would always correct me. So yeah, that was that. So they were never ever together in the terms of like marriage, or they were never ever together during my lifetime. Like from when I came out of my mother, my parents were not together. They kind of co-parented me and they lived separately, and that's the way that I was born. So I never knew my parents dating. I never knew them getting a divorce. I never lived through anything like that. It was just always my mom and my dad, and they were separate, and that was that. When I was almost 2 years old, my dad had a baby with my stepmom. Her name is Heidi, and they had my brother. So my brother is my half brother. We have the same dad, different moms. So I don't know exactly when my dad started dating her and when they got pregnant and all of that. Like that's just kind of, I don't know. But I do know that when I was almost 2, I got a baby brother, and we all lived together. So me, Heidi, my dad, and my brother, we all lived together in a little house in Ottawa, and then I was also with my mom as well. So I would go between the two houses. So Heidi has known me since I was a very, very little baby, and I've always kind of thought of her as a stepmom. I've never thought of her as like just my brother's mom, and I also never thought of my brother as my half brother. He's my brother. Like we don't refer to each other that way. We've always been just kind of, obviously when you have different parents, there's gonna be differences in the way that you're raised, because when he's with his mom and I'm with my mom, they both raise us differently. But when we were with our dad, we were raised the same. So that leads to its own complications. But again, I never thought of him as my half brother. He's my brother. So they stayed together. Again, the timeline there is like really confusing to me. I don't know at what age I was or my brother was when Heidi and my dad separated. Again, they were never married. They did live together, but yeah, never married, nothing like that. So they split up. They were no longer together. Heidi moved into a different house. and ended up actually moving into a house very close to where my mother lived. Backtracking a little bit, I just think this is like a fun fact about my life, is until I moved to Montreal, I lived on the same street my whole life. My mom had an apartment on Flora Street. I can say it now because she no longer lives there. She had an apartment on Flora Street in Ottawa, and that's where she lived when I was born. And then when I was 1 year old, she bought the house across the street. And I think it was something like she signed the paper on my birthday, and we have this picture of her holding me in front of the sold sign. And I think that picture was taken on my first birthday. So she bought that house. It was a little 2-bedroom house, and that's where I lived my whole life. My mom never moved around after that, so I lived on the same street my whole life. It was a really, really cute street, kind of downtown Ottawa. I really liked living there. I miss that neighborhood a lot. It's like a very walkable neighborhood. We grew up without a car. My mom never drove. We walked everywhere. We took public transit, so I was very much like a city kid. And Heidi ended up buying a house literally like a 5-minute walk. So we were very close physically as well. My dad, throughout my like younger years, he moved around a lot. He was really into like renovating and flipping houses. So we ended up kind of living all over the city, which was a trend that continued with my dad basically until I moved to Montreal. So while I had like one stable house at my mom's house, like one, you know, the location never changed. The location with my dad was changing a lot because he was always like on the move, renovating, buying, selling, you know, whatever. Then when I was, I think I was 6 years old. I think I was around 6. My dad started dating a lady named Nicole, who ended up being my stepmom. So they started dating when I was 6, and when I was 9, so after 3 years, they had my sister. So my sister Yola was born when I was 9, my brother was 7, and she was born, we all lived in this really, really beautiful house in this neighborhood of Ottawa called New Edinburgh. I remember it was near a park. It was this beautiful old like brick house, and I really loved that house. Like I remember we were really, really happy there, and I was so excited when my sister was born. Like when Nicole was pregnant with her, I was obsessed with just like talking about babies. I was so excited to have a little sister. And it was like, I remember the day she was born. I remember like holding her for the first time when I was 9. It was so exciting. So we lived in that house for a bit. We moved a couple of times, and then we ended up moving to another house where we all lived together, the 4 of us. So I would be part-time with my dad, part-time with my mom. And when I was with my dad, we were kind of like this family unit with my brother and my sister and Nicole. So I also call Nicole my stepmom. So that's why I have 2 stepmoms. And yeah, they're both, even though they're no longer with my dad, they were so involved in my life and like we're so close that I still consider them as my stepmom. And just like I explained with my brother, like my sister, I don't consider her my half sister. Like she's just my sister. So that's that. We all lived in that house. And then when I was 12, so I guess when my sister was 9, 10, 11, 12. So when my sister was 3, Nicole and my dad split up. We moved out, and that was probably like the hardest one for me because that was the one where, again, they were never married, nothing like that, but that was the one that felt like we were like a real kind of family unit, and that was the first time being an age that I can remember of being that kind of family unit. So that was really, really hard for me to watch them split up and to like, although she was still in my life and I still obviously had my sister and my brother and everything like that, like moving out of that house was like, yeah, it was really hard. And so it's kind of funny because the harder breakup was not my actual parents because I was a baby. I wasn't even alive actually when they broke up. It was my stepmom from my dad. So that's kind of that. So that's why I have 2 stepmoms. That's why, anyways, Heidi, it's very confusing as you can tell. So Heidi ended up moving to Montreal during COVID. My mom sold her house during COVID and she still lives in Ottawa. Nicole still lives in Ottawa and my dad still lives in Ottawa as well. So no one is together anymore. However, I do feel really, really lucky, and this is like what people kind of can't wrap their head around, is the fact that everyone still gets along. Like at Christmas, we all hang out together. All of the moms get along. My dad still gets along well with everyone, and all of, like, obviously me and my siblings get along, and we just love and respect like our stepmoms and stuff. So it's pretty nice. Like, although it's very unconventional, and like, you know, my dad's this guy who's like never been married, has 3 kids with 3 different women, and like it could sound kind of crazy and kind of like, ooh, scandalous. And I used to be like embarrassed to explain it to my friends and stuff because it was so different from like the nuclear family that a lot of my friends had. Now I'm just proud because I've seen the way everyone's handled things growing up, and although nothing was perfect, we all love each other and respect each other and can, like, you know, hang out and be in the same room. And so they've made that easy for us, like as kids and then now as adults. Yeah, so that's why we all hang out together. Like maybe at Christmas, you'll see in the vlogs, you'll see my mom and my stepmom and my other stepmom and my dad's new girlfriend. Like we're all just really like a big happy family, and it took time to get there. It wasn't always that we could all just hang out like that, but over the years, I guess everyone just kind of decided that like family matters more and love matters more. And that's my family situation for you guys. Were you able to keep up? Was that confusing? That was a long story. Okay, so that's that. I mean, if you have any questions, or like there's not gonna be a pop quiz, don't worry, but you guys are gonna probably see everyone as the vlogs continue into December and we go to Ottawa and all of that. So I hope that gives you a little bit of background. I guess it's also just kind of a crazy little story. So if you ever felt like your family was weird, mine is too, and it's okay. It's totally cool. So I feel like I just like talked so fast there, but the next thing I want to talk about, like totally changing gears, is patience. It's been something that's been on my mind this past week because I got some news from my dad, like some really good news. Basically, like, quick story time. I have the oldest TV. Like, my TV is so old, it's so janky. The sound on it is like not it. I don't even have a remote for it, so if I want to turn up the volume, I have to like get up and turn it up. And none of these things are the end of the world, not by any means. Oh, it's not a smart TV. So I have like an adapter plug-in called a Roku that I plug into the TV, which allows me to watch Netflix. But even that Roku device is so old, it's probably like maybe even almost 10 years old, I don't know. That device is so old as well that I can only watch Netflix. Disney Plus has said like it's too old, Crave doesn't work, YouTube doesn't work, so like it's not the ultimate TV experience. I've never bought a new one because I don't care that much. Like, I don't need a new TV that much to spend the money on it. There's other things I'd rather spend that money on. I also just kind of felt bad for the TV in a weird way. Like, I got this TV with Camilla when we lived in our apartment together. We got it on Kijiji, so it was already used when we got it, and we got it probably 5 or 6 years ago at this point. We paid $150 for it, and we had it all this time. When she moved out, she gave it to me to have here. And yeah, I never replaced it. I always thought about it. Every year, like around Boxing Day, Black Friday, for the past, I wanna say like 3 years, I was like, oh, I should replace the TV, but it just never was the priority. It was always just this kind of thing that was in the back of my mind. And I figured, well, when the time is right, I'll get a new TV. Anyways, my dad has been in this like changing up his home mood. He bought a new couch. He's just like revamping stuff in the house. And he has 2 TVs in the house. He has a really nice big one in the basement, and he has like a medium-sized one. I think it's still very nice in the upstairs living room. And he called me the other day, it was Black Friday. He was like, I'm at Best Buy. I think I want to buy another TV. Do you want the old one? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, please. And so it's like still a really good TV. It's a smart TV, so I won't need the Roku adapter. I'll be able to watch YouTube. I'll be able to watch Disney Plus. I'll be able to watch Crave, and I'll have everything on the TV. It's also a little bit bigger than the one I have now and a bit thinner, with better sound and a remote that works. So excited about that. I don't have it yet. He's gonna bring it next time he comes to Montreal. And the reason this all ties into patience is because I was telling Camilla that I'm gonna get a new TV and that our old TV is gonna be RIP. I'm probably just gonna donate it or give it to someone in my neighborhood, someone who wants a TV. I'll just give it away. And she was like, oh my gosh, like your patience paid off. You just waited it out and now you're getting a new TV. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think of it that way. You know, patience really did pay off in this case. And that got me thinking about my part-time job. So my part-time job is at a cycling studio. It's an old job that I got back, basically. I stopped working there after COVID. And so a few years went by. I'm not explaining this very well. I worked there while I was in university for a couple of years, stopped after COVID, and then decided I wanted to come back. I decided I potentially wanted to come back. I think it was in the spring or summer. Basically, I was just feeling kind of lonely at home. I thought it would be good to have some kind of forced activity to get out of the house, and I really liked working there. Because I have other jobs, I couldn't do a lunch shift. I couldn't do an evening shift. And I didn't want to work on the weekends. Like, that period of my life is over. So I really wanted the 6 a.m. morning shift, and it wasn't available at the time. I reached out to my old manager, it wasn't available, and I was like, okay. I tried looking at other part-time jobs. There was nothing that really worked out. You guys might remember I interviewed at a nail salon and they needed like more availability than I could offer. And so I just waited. I figured rather than force myself into something just for the sake of having a part-time job, just to kind of rush, I just waited. And eventually they reached back out to me from the spin studio and were like, hey, we've got this open slot. Do you want it? And it worked out perfectly. It's like a couple times a week in the morning, exactly what I wanted. They're super respectful of the fact that I'm not available other hours. And it worked out perfectly. And so patience, once again, really paid off. And I'm not a very patient person. I never have been. I've always been someone who just kind of rushes into things, maybe even ignores intuition in certain cases. Like, you know, when you get yourself into a situation you kind of rushed into, and then your stomach is like, and you're like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? And then you're freaking out, oh, I shouldn't have taken this job. I said yes, I took on too much. Like, I used to get in those situations all the time. And to not be in that situation right now, it's like, whoa. And that is a result of being patient. So I would love to know from you guys if you feel like you're a patient person. I think just these kind of experiences and reflecting on them, it's important to like talk about and to get it in my brain to keep working on being patient, because obviously patience pays off. And another example that I thought of is in friendships. I think patience can pay off as well. Like, if I look at my friendship with Camilla, we've known each other for like 7 years now. We met in 2014. So what's that, 6 years? And we lived together. So we were roommates first. And there was times when we would barely see each other even though we lived together, because we were both just so busy studying different things, involved in different programs, friends with different people. And over the years, like, we just had this very solid foundation of like trust and being roommates and kind of leaning on each other and knowing each other like on that roommate level, that eventually it just became this like friendship that blossomed. But maybe if we were impatient and we just rushed and tried to force ourselves to be best friends like back in the day, we might have had a falling out. It might have like burnt out because one of us was too busy, or like, you know, we didn't have time for one another, blah, blah, blah. But like, we were just patient, and you know, in patience, you allow your friendship to bloom. And I think the same could be true in relationships as well. Like, rushing into things and kind of forcing things in a relationship, when has that ever worked out for anyone? I would love to know. Never worked out for me. So yeah, I don't know. That's my kind of message about patience. Would love to know your thoughts on that. And yeah, patience just pays off. So I feel like I'm just talking so fast today, you guys. But should we bring out our special guest? Special guest!
Coming.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I just need to finish my paragraph.
Okay, he's gonna finish his paragraph. I'm gonna adjust the camera setup, and we'll be right back. Should we just do the video like this? Should I just stand off camera and interview you?
No.
What are you reading?
Book.
Book?
I'm reading book. What are we doing here?
You look like the Grinch.
I know that somebody's got my
sit
back.
up straight. Like sit up. Put your legs that way. No, we can't even see you. Sit up. Sit up straight.
God. Mais c'est magnifique.
You're in the jungle.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
Okay. Do you have a tea or something? No.
I have water left.
Okay. Well,
You
first.
make coffee first.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't say no to it.
Are you kidding?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're back.
Okay.
The girl smell of caffeine.
It does smell good. Okay, we're good. We're in business.
Now?
Okay, well first, tell us about your pajamas, why they say... It looks like, actually in the viewfinder, it looks like it says Bob.
So it says Bob.
Tell us about your pajamas.
Pyjamas. So you all know Russell. Do you know Russell?
New people might not know Russell, but Russell's
been a character on the vlogs in the past. He's a friend from Vancouver. We used to live together as roommates
in Montreal.
And we were hosting a Christmas dinner. And instead of like having some, fancy Christmas stuff, we just decided to buy something that was Christmassy. He's Anglophone, so he had the French version of Dad, and Francophones had the English version.
Oh, so his said Papa?
Yeah. And that's that, and we just skipped it, and now, sometimes wearing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
For anyone who's new, who are you? What's your name?
I'm Zoey's dog sitter. Jean-Sébastien Chaussé-Darcy. Or just Jean-Sébastien, probably. I go by JS or Jean.
Yeah. And, well, he's Francophone, he's Québécois. Québécois. And, well, welcome. This is the first time he's ever on my channel, like, in a sit-down context. Like, you've been in the vlogs, but we've never, like, sat down and done a video. Anyways, I'm not gonna give him too much airtime because it's literally just gonna go to his head. So I told him I was gonna give him like a few topics to choose from, and then he gets to maybe tell us a little story, tell us his opinion. So
I am choosing the topic?
I'm gonna tell them to you now.
Oh.
So today's video was about family.
Patience.
I
was trying to read upstairs and I couldn't.
Overall themes of these videos is holidays and like growing up life. So do you have anything that resonates with you on those topics that you'd like to share?
Those are not topics, those are like themes.
Okay, themes.
Holidays, family,
patience.
I can speak to holiday and families and how I always hated the holidays.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So am I speaking to you or them?
Speak to the camera.
Okay. My family is separated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They basically lived, my parents lived together until I was 5. I have an older brother who is 13 at that point. Then they separated, and it was kind of a war until like quite recently, actually, until like my adulthood. So to me, the holidays is always a period not of joy and like reunion and like whatever it may be in either normal people's lives, if we can say that, or movies, especially movies.
Yeah, movies.
Movies is just joy on there.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew to hate the holidays, generally speaking, because to me the holidays were not reunion, they were separation and being tiered between different sides of the family, having to choose between the sides of the family, which was also always difficult because if you make a choice, you always disappoint. You make one of the sides happy, but you disappoint the other side by default.
Yeah.
So it was always very difficult for that. the holidays. Now I don't care as much.
Yeah.
I grew to appreciate the holidays.
I guess maybe now it helps that your mom goes away.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
but
an easier
still,
choice.
the choice could still be to go away because you know, the whole side of the family's away.
But
it's not just the one person.
Why did they make you make a choice every year? Why couldn't you just alternate? Because that's like too much pressure to put on a kid.
Yeah, well,
it's not for you to.
You're interviewing the wrong person to ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like probably a lot of people can relate to that.
I'm sure. Because the holidays either bring extreme joy or extreme sadness in people.
Or both. Like.
Yeah, both at once.
Sometimes you feel bad because you're not feeling joy and you feel like you should be. And because then you get this like.
It's the most wonderful time. Are you gonna put music in the back?
I usually do like a jazz for these videos. Yeah, like Christmas is a whole day. It's like a whole 24 hours. And sometimes you can just feel like you get this feeling of like, okay, is that all there is? You know, all this fuss for you having to make a decision.
Yeah, a whole month of preparation, stress, anxiety for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think like, well, I mean, I guess if we compare our situations, like I'm so lucky that everyone gets along.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna cry, like feel sad for you.
No, I'm okay about it. I literally got continence for legs so I can support myself.
You have continence for legs so you can support yourself. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't even have like a...
Brutal, eh?
For once, I'm speechless.
It's about time. Yeah, okay, next topic.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't think we can elaborate much more.
No, there's not much more to say except that it sucks.
Yeah, it's just unpleasant.
I like to, if I'm talking about something, I try and give it a hopeful spin for the viewers.
Well, the hopeful spin, is if you are a parent or soon to be parent or plan on one day being a parent, you should put the kids before yourself because they made no choice in being born or being born as you for parents. So think of them before you think of yourself because you will scar them psychologically for probably ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think if you have kids together, you should talk about what would happen in case of a divorce? Like, do you think that people should have that conversation before they have children together?
I think you know.
You know?
You know based on like the relationship that you have with the other person, like what's gonna happen if you're not together.
But I think that from what I've heard, like separating when you're older and like you have actually a life together, like a home, I've heard it makes you go psycho.
Yeah, I mean they all do.
Like so psycho that you can't think straight. And so you would think like, oh yeah, we're gonna be civil and we're gonna, 1 year you have the kids, 1 year I have the kids, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the message of hope is that as tough as it can be when you're a kid, you get to grow up and you actually get to choose and you get to make your own traditions. And even if it's not on Christmas Day, like even if on Christmas Day you have to suck it up and you have to go, visit your family with like your uncle that you hate, let's say, like I'm giving a super random example, you are a grown up and you get to say, okay, on Christmas Day I have to suck it up, but on the 24th I'm gonna make it really special with my friends or with my partner.
Yeah.
Like when you grow up you get to have a bit more control and you can make like joy, because I do think it is a joyful time, like whether it's all commercial and fabricated, it's like you can just make it for yourself like I know my mom, she just hates the holidays and she wants to like hide in her room and not do anything. And like every year she comes to a Christmas brunch, but every year it's like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And that's okay, like that's her thing, but you could also try and turn it around, I guess. It doesn't need to be horrible for your whole life.
Mm-hmm. In the end, you choose how you feel about things.
Yeah, sometimes your feelings are out of your control, but you can choose, you can pick it back up another day. That's my thought. Okay, well, I think that's a wrap on this video. We've been going for a while.
Okay, that's all.
Sit up straight. Sit up straight.
I'm stretching. Sorry.
You're just getting started?
Yeah.
Well, what else would you like to talk about?
Here. Well, I don't know. Give me a question.
Okay, let's end on a rapid fire. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. Okay?
It better not be 5 kinds of cereals.
Tell them about that.
No.
Tell them.
How can I do that?
Basically, he explained this thing to me and he was like, you don't know this? Where obvious. I guess growing up, like boys would do it to each other, his brother, where you twist someone's nipple and you say, name me 5 kinds of cereal, and you keep twisting basically to hurt them until
they name the 5
kinds of cereal.
The thing is, under pressure and stress, you actually cannot name 5 kinds of cereals, which even right now, like what? Fruit Loops,
Raisin Bran,
Corn
Rice
Flakes,
Krispies.
That's Rice
4.
Krispies, that's 4. Cheerios.
Easy peasy.
But easy peasy, but that took what? Like
don't touch my nipple.
7 seconds. 7 seconds and we're 2?
Yeah, I guess.
It's a long time to get your nipple twisted. It's a long time.
Next question. What is...
That was not even a question.
Whatever. Next question. What is your favorite restaurant in Montreal?
It's funny because yesterday we were speaking about Gentile, and I really do appreciate Gentile for its comfort, coziness, and food.
Okay. Favorite? That's your favorite?
I think so.
Sickening.
Yeah.
What is your favorite TV show?
Well, I mean, you know as much as I do that Peaky Blinders is quite important.
Quite important. Okay.
But there's others that I've watched repeatedly as well. But Peaky Blinders really hit the spot. Yeah.
Okay.
You should watch Peaky Blinders.
You should.
It's better than...
No, Gossip Girl's sick.
Not as much.
Okay. And what is your favorite month of the year?
I don't think I have that.
You don't have a favorite month? Okay.
No. They all bring something different, right? Spring was always kind of special. There's a certain smell in the spring, right?
Yeah.
And
hope.
Well, hope, and like it brings you back to when you were maybe a kid, and like, you know, school was finishing, summer was starting, all that. But yeah.
I don't know why, that just made me think of like the smell of Florida, like the smell of your mom's house in Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
Okay, final question. What?
That's gonna be the 4th one.
No. Cereal?
It's not a question.
Oh my God, you just want more airtime. Okay, what's your favorite store to shop at?
To shop what?
Clothes.
I would probably say it's probably equal between Suit Supply and the Bay.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay,
we're gonna lose battery. Last, final question.
Yes.
What do you enjoy about dating a YouTuber?
Wow. It's not like your YouTube career necessarily affects me on the daily, right? That's for sure. I would say there's a few things. What you get from being a YouTuber makes you happy. So if you're happy, I'm happy.
That's nice.
I would say that to start.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
What do I like about you being a finance bro.
I'm not a finance bro.
I like that you're not a finance bro.
I'm a business bro.
You're a business bro.
Yeah.
I like when you get excited about the projects that you're working on and you feel proud. That's nice to see.
Happens once every 365 days.
That's not true. I think it happens once a month.
Yeah,
that you're really like, oh yeah, I'm proud
I
of this.
cranked up, yeah.
I think that's nice. It's nice to see. Okay, thanks for
tuning in.
Thanks for coming on
My pleasure.
my channel.
My pleasure.
Vlogmas Day
Invite me at other time, but
3.
as I said though, next time you need to run the script on my publicist.
I'll get the script to your publicist. I'll get the, what do you call it? The rider? Like when an artist wants like no green M&Ms or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have that for you.
Yeah. But in December it's only green and red M&Ms, nothing else.
But you can buy that, so that's easy peasy.
I prefer Smarties to M&Ms too.
Sickening.
Because they have more sugar on top.
Okay.
Bye.
Lean in.
How?
Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys. Happy Sunday chat. Hope you have a fabulous day whenever you're watching this. I feel like this video is probably almost an hour. And love you so much. See you in the next video. Bye.